So alright, in today's video, I want to talk about how my Ender 3 3D printer died, that way you can avoid the same mistake. With that said, my 3D printer died not due to user issues, it died basically to a power surge, and I usually disconnect my 3D printer just by flipping the switch on the machine. Normally, when you flip a switch like this, you'd think it would disconnect all 3 phases, however the ground still goes through to your house's connection, so any surges on that or static buildup over time will straight bypass the power supply and kill your motherboard. So what I recommend is if you have a stock Ender 3, just unplug it from the wall when you're done. Other than that, I'm going to be using this here surge protector from now on while I'm printing, and I'm basically just going to unplug it when I have the machine off. However, since it took out my main board, if you don't know if your main board's pretty much destroyed and can't be recovered, typically it will blue screen, you'll turn it on, and you'll get no picture. If you get this and you try to reflash the firmware with the SD card and it doesn't actually ever go through, good chances your motherboard's stuck in a boot loop and you have the same problem. Another symptom of the issue is Octoprint will actually show the USB communication fine, it just will fail to connect. Now with that said, I'm actually going to be upgrading this machine while I fix it. I'm going to be putting in a silent mainboard version 4.2.7 from Creality. Now believe it or not, I thought this board was more of a gimmick a couple years ago, but after trying it, it's actually pretty good, so I'll talk about it more towards the end of the video. But with that said, to do a board swap on a machine like this, and you're going to have to forgive me here for the lack of B-roll, the space is really tight, and the main boards are only about the size of a playing card deck. But to basically swap them, you take the top cover off your machine, and everything in the screw terminals goes exactly into the same place on the new board. The other plugs basically go to the same exact place as well, except you need to twist them to get them in. On the new board, the plugs are flipped 180 degrees, meaning the keying that the original plugs had is now flipped, so you just gotta twist the cable, plug it in, and they should work. All I can say is take your time, especially with removing the hot glue on the old board, because much like stock computers you can buy online, through shipping they are regulated to have to hot glue the plugs in place so that they don't come loose. Now you can either use some IPA to undo the hot glue and poke at it slowly over time while pulling the cable, or you can just pull the whole cable right off the original board. The socket should pop off as well, don't worry, you can just easily put those back on. Hopefully this small clip I took at least gives you guys somewhat an idea of what I needed to do to get this done. Now there were only 2 cables, I had no clue at all where they went, and that's the hot end fan. The hot end fan goes into K-fan 1, it's the blue and yellow cable. Now the case fan, the main motherboard fan, plugs into K-fan 2 right next to it. My other recommendation is once you got this swap done, keep the lid off with the fan off, just keep it open, plug it in and flip the switch. That way if something goes wrong, you can easily kill the power right away and you can see it, have the components visible. The other thing to do is if it turns on and it starts trying to home and just immediately crashes right into your limit switches and you have no picture, that is actually another good sign. It might not seem like it because a lot of these main boards are supposed to come pre-flashed, but a lot of times they have the wrong firmware. So if you run into this issue, it's firmware related, not hardware related. So all you will have to do is get the firmware on an SD card, I'll link it down below in the description. And well, you plug the SD card in your machine and turn it on. Within about 5 seconds, the firmware should flash over, then you can take the SD card out. Now once the firmware is on, you're going to notice one thing right away. The machine will actually auto home immediately and you're not going to hear it. The reason being is that this is a 32-bit board, so it can do a lot more precision with the stepper motors versus the old 8-bit one. Now it doesn't seem like that should be that big of a deal, but trust me it is. By far, the actual fan on the hot end and on the printer's main chassis is the loudest thing overall now. Normally, I can tell when I start my printer and when the print finishes. I cannot do that at all anymore. Another thing you're going to notice is the new mainboard has a slot for a BL Touch. So if you have a BL Touch, you could put the BL Touch version of the firmware on, hook that up to your hot end, and you can have the machine now auto level for you, which is something you couldn't do before. But with that said, I'm going to let the machine do the talking for the ending B-roll clip here, so you guys can hear exactly how quiet it is. And trust me, it was pretty hard to capture this, but my air conditioning at the time was actually louder than the 3D printer, as well as the hot end fan, obviously. But with that said, that's basically it for this video. I hope it helped somebody out in the end, and with that said, I'm gonna leave it off here now. TTPK signing off. Peace. And we're gonna save that, and close out of our prefix, and from here, and as always, I designed a 3D printable case. I'll leave a link to that in the description for those that want it.